All right, we're still talking through the website basics, and the third one on my list is, does the website have an accessibility statement? Let's get into what an accessibility statement is. An accessibility statement not only meets compliance requirements, it also demonstrates a commitment to inclusivity. Having one can greatly enhance your customer relations with the users of your website. It can also help you potentially avoid any legal problems that come up as a result of having accessibility issues on your website. It is a pretty essential part of a modern and user-focused website experience. So an accessibility statement can really just be an outline of the intentions, efforts, and future plans for the accessibility of a website. An accessibility statement describes the steps that a website or an organization has taken to ensure that it can be used by everyone, including users with disabilities. And remember, about 16% of the world, or as I like to refer to Treg Frank's talk during Config 2024, about a market the size of China. It's about 1.3 billion people in the world who are living with one or more disabilities. The accessibility statement can include information like how the website supports assistive technologies like screen readers. It can also include how it offers content in easy to read formats. There are a lot of different things that you can install on a website, but I will remind you, even though we're talking just about the accessibility statement on a website, these accessibility widgets do not solve all accessibility issues, and about 30% of the lawsuits raised in the last couple of years have in fact been because these accessibility widgets prevent other technologies, assistive technologies that users have from working. So in fact, they make it less accessible in some cases, which is a problem. So we'll talk about that in a future video, but for now, let's talk about the rest of what an accessibility statement can do for you. Many places have laws requiring websites to be accessible to people with disabilities. An accessibility statement helps demonstrate that a website is making efforts to comply with these laws. These laws include the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act in the US, and now they include the EAA, the European Accessibility Act, which was passed in 2022 and will become enforceable in June of 2025. So we are less than a year away from many regulating bodies in the European Union having the ability to penalize websites, and I do believe that they are planning to do some enforcement. So this is going to be greater importance to people who are serving customers in the European Union countries. When you see an accessibility statement as a user, it builds trust. People know that the business cares about all of its users, including those people with disabilities. Again, builds trust, and it helps build the business's reputation. So something that I also love to mention, and this is from Treg Frank's talk, we cannot segment out people with disabilities from any of our marketing. We cannot put some sort of flag or blocker on our website to say,
hey, if there's a person with a disability, they don't get to come use our website.
That's not possible. It's not ethical and moral and reasonable, but it's just not possible. These people have market share. They have the ability to spend money. And frankly, it's just the right thing to do in my personal opinion. So if that aligns with your beliefs as well, having an accessibility statement is a non-negotiable. The accessibility statement can also help users with disabilities. It tells them how to navigate the website and what accessibility features are available and how to get the best experience for their needs. An accessibility statement also often includes a way for users to provide feedback. They can report any accessibility issues that they encounter, and this is really valuable for you as a business because rather than reaching out to their lawyer or sending an ADA demand letter, they're just letting you know, hey, I am a person with color vision deficiency, or I have some cognitive disabilities and I was not able to use your website. Here are some things that I ran into. And that is, I say all feedback is a gift. That is an incredible gift for them to reach out and let you know that, hey, you've got some work that you could do to make this experience more inclusive. This also can help prevent complaints or even legal issues by allowing you to solve any accessibility problems proactively. Having an accessible website and a very clear accessibility statement can set your business apart from all of your competitors. It does show commitment to inclusivity, and it possibly helps you reach a wider audience, including those with disabilities, which can always help increase your customer base. So let's talk about some ways that an accessibility statement protects your business. So a demonstration of commitment. An accessibility statement demonstrates a proactive commitment to accessibility. So it shows that you as the website owner is aware of accessibility issues and you are actively working to address them on your website. This can be very beneficial during legal scrutiny, and it illustrates an ongoing effort to comply with legal standards like that ADA and Title 2 and 3 of the Rehabilitation Act. Other international accessibility regulations like the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, the WCAG or the WCAG as some people say, these are regulations that are provided, guidelines as indicated in the title. They are guidelines that help you make sure that your website is as accessible as possible. Having an accessibility statement also provides transparency into your efforts. So this statement often details the accessibility standards that the website aims to meet, such as the WCAG 2.1. My website evaluations meet the accessibility standards for 2.2, which is a little bit more recent and a little bit more robust in a couple of areas. And it also describes the measures that have been taken. What have you already done to address any accessibility issues that you found on your website? And it also can document your ongoing efforts to improve digital accessibility. So this transparency can be crucial in a legal defense as it shows due diligence and a structured approach to addressing accessibility issues. It's also a channel of communication. So accessibility statements typically include your contact information or a feedback mechanism for users to report any accessibility issues that they find. And this feature is important because it provides a direct line of communication between you and your users who have disabilities. It lets your users express concerns or request accommodations and potentially resolves any issues before they escalate into legal actions. It also benefits your legal defense. So in jurisdictions where accessibility legislation is enforced, having an accessibility statement and adhering to the practices outlined within it can serve as part of your legal defense. So it can show that website owners have made reasonable efforts, those are in quotes, reasonable efforts, or are making ongoing improvements to accessibility of their website, which can be very persuasive in legal settings. The accessibility statement also helps with user guidance. So the statement can help you guide users on how to interact with and use various accessibility features of the website, and that can enhance their experience and reduce their frustration. The guidance can help decrease the likelihood of complaints as users are better equipped to navigate the site effectively. And I also want to add on to this, even though this isn't part of the script that I really wanted to tell you about. It's not just that you're solving things for users with disabilities. I like to give people the example of if you're solving for a problem where we have a customer with a limb difference and we need to solve for a one-handed use of the website or an app, we're also solving the problem for someone who has temporarily hurt their wrist. Maybe they've broken a bone from doing an activity, or maybe they have carpal tunnel and they need care for a repetitive stress injury. And when we're solving for those people with temporary disabilities, we're also solving for temporary situations in which a parent who has a colicky baby that they can't set down and that arm is in use, they have only got use of one arm at that time. So even if it's a permanent, a temporary impairment, any level of disability, we're solving for those needs as well. So it's not just for people with disabilities. You're making the website more accessible to absolutely everyone, and your customers will reward that. Having an accessibility statement is also beneficial for benchmarking and documentation. This serves as an internal benchmark for your company and documentation for the website's accessibility goals and achievements. This documentation can be crucial in those legal situations to prove that accessibility consideration was integrated into the development and maintenance of the site. I'm also going to include an example of an accessibility statement's role in legal defense. So I brought into it a scenario given to me by someone who actually had to deal with this with a previous company. And I want to say, consider a scenario where a visually impaired user files a complaint against a website for not having content that is fully accessible with screen readers. If the website has an accessibility statement clearly saying that they are in the process of updating all content to be fully compliant with WCAG 2.1 level AA standards, it shows that the site owners are aware of and working toward resolving such issues. Furthermore, if the statement invites users to report any accessibility issues they encounter and provides a timeline for expected updates, it further strengthens the website and the business owner's defense by showing proactive and ongoing efforts to enhance accessibility. So you actually can prevent a lot of issues by having a really good accessibility statement on your website. Just like terms and conditions and just like the privacy policy, that accessibility statement is going to live on its own web page on your website. It should have the label, the title, the page title, accessibility statement, and that link to the accessibility statement should be found in the footer or in some other location that is easy to find, easy to access from every page of the website. Typically, right down there with the privacy policy and the terms and conditions, it's in the footer of the website. If you don't have one, I would consult with an accessibility expert to draft a comprehensive accessibility statement that aligns with the latest WCAG standards. That's the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. Create that specific page on your website dedicated to the accessibility statement. Make sure that it is linked from a consistent location everywhere on the website, and then regularly update it, especially if you have made any changes to the content of the website or the accessibility of that content, or if you have made any changes to any related policies. All right, I will see you in the next website basic video, but hopefully this helps you understand why an accessibility statement is so necessary.